Let's take a look at today's headlines from across Houston. Hello, I'm Len Cannon. An employee survives a terrifying moment when a suspected robber walks her out of the business with a gun in her back, using her as a human shield as police arrive. It happened Monday morning in the Greens Point area of North Houston. Amanda Henderson with the story.
This morning, dozens of police officers made their way to North Houston. Evidence markers lining the road as they pieced together what led up to an officer-involved shooting outside Ace Cash Express as it was opening for the day.
Our North Belt Patrol officers responded to a hold-up panic alarm, which is usually an alarm that's used by businesses to advise us that they are being robbed.
When officers arrived on scene 4 minutes later, they say the suspect was right outside of this Ace Cash Express with the employee. But it was these cameras outside the business that they say told the whole story, and it left them speechless.
He's walking out with her. It appears on the video that he has a pistol to her back and walking in behind her, using as a shield as he steps out of the business.
Police say when the male suspect tried to escape, that's when the officer shot him. The female employee is safe. Those who use the quick cash business seeing signs to go to another location.
I just came up here just pay a light bill.
Donnell says he comes here once a month to pay bills and has never seen anything like this before.
It's crazy that it happened early this morning.
That was Amanda Henderson reporting. In West Houston, a Galleria area restaurant owner is demanding action after an abandoned building next door caught fire again on Sunday night. Now, we've reported on several fires in that very same building this year. Troy Kless taking a closer look at what's being done to address this problem.
On Westheimer, the margins are slim between this charred vacant building and Stockyard Barbecue.
We have a 15-inch of air gap between us and this building. 15-inch air gap. So you can see where my concern and fear comes from.
Owner Louay Jubrani has worked here 15 years, but claims a homeless camp at the abandoned building next door is causing problems.
You see our window over there? That was busted Saturday, the same night. My cashier's car's windshield got busted with the same stone.
Sunday night, fire crews forced to physically cut into the building as they responded to the fire and a large plume of smoke coming from that building. No one was hurt and the cause is still unclear, and it's at least the second fire at the building in 1 year.
50 firefighters combating this, getting on the roof, risking their lives, and all for what? Who's this helping? Who's this good for? Nobody. It's not good for the city. It's not good for the property owner. It's not good for me as a neighbor and adjacent property owner.
In February, Houston firefighters battled another blaze they say was set on purpose. KHOU 11 was here at the property in May when it was being fenced in and boarded up by the old owners. But the property sold in June, and we've tried contacting the new property owner who has not returned our calls. Businesses nearby hoping the city can take action.
Our neighbors love us, but we cannot fight this battle.
That was Troy Kless reporting. On Sunday, friends and family remembered a 62-year-old woman who was killed by a stray bullet at a trail riding event in Houston last weekend. They say her legacy will endure for years to come, and they vow justice will be served for Mama Bunny. Here's Matt Doherty.
Thank everybody for coming out today to honor and celebrate the life of Bunny.
On a chilly gray Sunday afternoon, the trail riders gathered to say goodbye to Mama Bunny.
Justice will be served. Amen. Whoever committed this senseless act will be held accountable.
Amen.
You can never replace your mama.
Quishan Williams was there at Rancho El Dorado in southwest Houston on November 22nd when his mother, 62-year-old Eleanor Williams, was caught in the crossfire of a shootout.
I was right there with him. I was right there on the ground with him. Bye. Everything happened.
6 people, including Williams, were shot just before 2 o'clock that morning at the trail riding event. Williams was the only one who died.
She lived the trail ride. She's sweet. Living person, she never messed with nobody.
Today, her sons were among the many who gathered in her honor, a dedicated member of the Woodland Trail Riders.
Attitude with a heart of gold. That's what my sister say.
Houston police said 2 or more people exchanged gunfire that early morning and that one person had been detained as a possible suspect. In the week that has passed, police have not announced any arrests.
I've been texting her phone. She ain't text me back yet.
It's hard.
Those who loved Mama Bunny are finding it tough to believe what happened, the innocent casualty of a deadly fight in which she had no part. We love you, Bunny! Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
Remembering Mama Bunny. All right, take a look at this. Caught on camera, Bel Air police say 3 burglary suspects broke into a home over the weekend using a Wi-Fi jammer to try and distort surveillance video. But police hope the video is still clear enough to help identify the suspects. Jason Miles on the burglary and tips to keep your home safe during the holidays.
I'm told officers are on the scene in no time this weekend because the alleged burglary happened not very far from the police station here. Bel Air police say a trio of burglary suspects struck a home on Aspen Street just before 8 o'clock Saturday night, just a few doors down from where Chad Shorey lives.
And I'm surprised that there were burglaries this close to the Bel Air Police Department, which is basically over a block or 2 away.
I assume they didn't know that, maybe.
Well, hopefully they'll find out and stay away from this area going forward.
Police shared this surveillance video with me this afternoon showing the 3 masked men creeping up to the rear of the home after hopping a backyard fence. They believe there's a Wi-Fi jammer in that backpack one suspect holds up to distort the video. The suspects appear to try and break in a back door before eventually getting inside through a second-floor window. This is a brief video from the front of another home showing the suspects getting spooked when lights come on.
It's an issue, obviously, that's concerning.
Andy Kahn with Crime Stoppers of Houston says data shows many types of crime spike during the holidays, including home burglaries, partly because people may travel or deviate from their normal routines.
Number 1, don't advertise that you're out of town. Stay off of social media saying we're going to spend the next few days. You just open the gate for those that want to take your stuff.
He says properly disposing of gift packaging is also important.
It might be just trash to you, but it's a golden opportunity for those out there because now they know what you have and they can just simply wait for you to leave your home.
In this case, Bel Air police are not releasing what was stolen, but tell me a neighbor called 911 after hearing the alleged victim's alarm go off. What do you do as a homeowner to try and dissuade this type of activity?
We always set our alarms. We have multiple video cameras. We have a dog, and we're vigilant, and we talk to all of our neighbors.
Sharing legitimate information is also highly encouraged. Meanwhile, police tell me they do have a lead on a potential getaway vehicle in this case and will release more information as it becomes available. In Bel Air, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
That is a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Len Cannon.
I'm Chris Lawrence in Dallas with your headlines from North Texas. Another person has died from a deadly fire in Louisville that broke out in a family's home the day before Thanksgiving. Authorities confirmed that 10-year-old America Plata has died from her injuries. Her mother was also killed in the fire. And America's brother, uncle, and father are all recovering right now. Investigators are still trying to determine the cause. There's a new push to make the home of the State Fair of Texas a year-round destination. Luke Clary got a look at plans that could include restaurants, retail, and a hotel inside Fair Park.
Our State Fair of Texas.
For a few weeks each fall, Fair Park feels like the center of Dallas. But when the lights come down, much of this place sits empty. City leaders say that's the problem and the opportunity.
We've got to be willing to have some trial and error.
Councilmember Adam Basildua backs a new hybrid approach from city staff, bringing in private partners while keeping the city in charge of core operations. It calls for more community events, more festivals, and more economic development, including retail, restaurants, even hotels that could set up inside the park, says Dallas Parks and Recreation Department Director John Jenkins.
I don't have a problem saying we have underperformed. And that's why I made sure we hired the right folks, and we're going to partner with the right private sector experts to take Fair Park where it deserves to be. And it should be the economic engine for this region.
And what do you see as a timeline?
My timeline is yesterday. And I hope that we can keep the fire under our city manager's office to understand that this is truly a priority.
The shift comes after the city took back control of Fair Park from Oakview Group in September, ending a 6-year management deal that broke down over maintenance, money, and oversight.
I believe that it was a failure that was needed for us to look at how we can be more successful and effective as we move forward in the future.
The new plan also calls for partnerships with existing or new nonprofits, including a proposed Cotton Bowl Foundation modeled on the Rose Bowl Foundation to support the park's biggest revenue driver. The next steps here at Fair Park include some small changes, new service contracts, new partners, and economic development study. City staff hopes that it adds up to a more full-time future for a space that has been busy, but only part of the year. In Dallas, I'm Luke Clary.
Well, this is the week we learn which teams will be playing where during the FIFA World Cup. Scoop Jefferson spoke with the new sports commissioner in Fort Worth, who's making sure the city gets its share of the revenue next summer.
In just a few days, Fort Worth's famous country music nightclub and entertainment venue,
So when you think about that true Texas experience,
will open its doors to North Texas soccer fans, and nobody wants it packed more than the city's new sports commissioner.
our main goal is to get people to Fort Worth, and then when they go home, they tell their friends and family about Fort Worth.
Appointed sports commissioner in September, Drew Hayes, a former athlete, calls it his dream job for him and his family. He and his team are responsible for getting Fort Worth ready for the 2026 FIFA World Cup games in DFW. AT&T Stadium renamed Dallas Stadium as a game host. And when the team competition groupings are announced on December 5th, a huge FIFA watch party.
We're going to have live music on the Honky Tonk stage back there. We're going to have a DJ up here on this main stage.
They're counting on the fame behind Billy Bob's, a venue spanning 100,000 square feet, hosting 6,000 plus people, saying Fort Worth, not Dallas. Now and next summer, the sports commissioner says Fort Worth is ready for soccer fans and the teams. Even backstage at Billy Bob's, a designated spot on the green room wall for soccer player autographs next to the biggest names in country music.
So we can't wait to see what we can do around soccer to, add to this room.
TCU is designated as a potential base camp for soccer teams, a huge plus for Fort Worth.
We have the potential to host a nation for training the entire time of the World Cup.
The city's 2026 tourism direct spending dollars are already estimated at $88 million.
But that does not include the FIFA World Cup.
Commissioner Hayes urges get your watch party tickets now.
So you don't even have to be a soccer fan.
Because sold out is a regular at Billy Bob's in Fort Worth. I'm Scoop Jefferson.
For 56 years, a small bridal shop in Dallas has been helping women get ready for their big day. As it prepares to close, Dia Wall takes a look at the moments and memories that made the boutique iconic.
When is your wedding?
A common question inside Mockingbird Bridal Boutique.
It's very emotional. My grandmother started this boutique in 1969, and when it was one of the only bridal shops in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it is truly iconic. You can step up on this pedestal.
Known for helping brides like Elizabeth Cleveland find their dream dress.
You know it was right here. Mothers bringing their daughters in now that bought their dresses here 25, 32 years ago. Like she's getting married.
Trying on dress.
Okay, I got you.
After dress.
All right, ready to try the next?
Yep. As her mom.
I like the details on this one.
Watches on.
Beautiful. Still like my little angel, my little princess.
But Sharon Virgos will be one of the last.
Well, after 56 years, we have decided to close her down.
Sad.
Very
Especially
sad.
a family-owned business, after this many years.
Yeah, I can definitely tell the love that she puts behind every single person.
The family is selling the property and retiring. Every dress marked down 50%. No appointment needed.
Oh, nice.
She was in the dressing room with me the entire time, helping me and, telling me I was beautiful.
Celebrating this moment.
Are you saying yes to the dress?
I
am.
And all the others before it.
What do you think your grandmother would say?
She would just say blessed to get to share this experience with all these beautiful brides.
In Dallas,
Beautiful.
I'm Dia Wall.
Well, goodbye downtown Dallas. The Greyhound station is moving to a new hub near Dallas Love Field. The lease at the old station on South Lamar expired last year. Greyhound and Flixbus announced they'll start operating from a new terminal on Harry Hines Boulevard starting December 9th. Anyone who already bought tickets will be notified of the change. Can't leave the kids at home. A magician in North Texas is giving couples a chance to learn a few tricks of their own. Sean Giggy introduces us to the man blending a little wonder with dinner and wine.
So this is only 3 ounces, so drink up.
Imagine you're sitting there enjoying a nice meal when all of a sudden a guy in a questionable bow tie questions you.
Is that the 3 of diamonds?
Dal Sanders is a magician.
Would you like to help me say yes?
Over the years, he's taught magic to a lot of kids.
The 3 and the 7.
And inevitably, there's always at least one adult who says, "Hey, can you teach me too?"
And I said, I'm just not prepared for this. What am I going to do? I'm prepared for a large group of kids. And I said, how about magic and wine?
And that's how Dal conjured up this.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Magic, flights, and bites. Adult lessons and adult drinks.
The night starts with a Prosecco and a toast, and then we're going to do a little magic and have a ball.
Dal holds his grown-up magic classes at places like Regine's in Dallas.
Our sommelier today is Dan.
Throughout the night, wine magically appears.
We're going to start off with a deck of cards.
Following a magic show from Dal, food disappears.
So did you like that trick? Okay, you're going to learn it in a few minutes.
And then the fun begins.
You're all going to get a chance to learn how to do this.
Guests learn how to do card tricks, coin tricks, all sorts of tricks to impress their friends.
It's a great way to be the favorite uncle or, the cool grandparent or something like that.
Dal says it's all stuff anyone can master.
You take the card, the first thing you're going to do is...
No previous magical powers necessary.
If I join you for dinner, can you make my bill disappear?
I'm a magician, not a banker, but we could do something.
At the very least, maybe saw it in half?
My choice, remember?
In Dallas, I'm Sean Giggy.
Definitely worth checking out if you're in town. And those are your headlines from North Texas.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Pat Catlin here with a look at your forecast. We'll start across South Texas first today. Weather's not too bad. Temperatures upper 50s to low and mid 60s. More clouds, though, the farther south you go. Maybe even a couple of showers towards Brownsville. Across central and southeast Texas, weather looks gorgeous today. Temperatures crisp and cool, running below normal in the mid to upper 50s, but with lots of sunshine on deck. Finally drying out from days of rain. North Texas looks nice as well. Definitely on the colder side, upper 40s to around 50 from Wichita Falls through the Metroplex out towards the Louisiana border. Getting into the high plains and the Panhandle, a little bit warmer. Temperatures starting to build here up near 60 degrees, downsloping there. You can see the wind starting to gust at times, but we'll take that. And then finally, the nicest weather in the whole state, 60s and 70s with sunshine from West Texas here, from El Paso to Fort Stockton out towards San Angelo. Beautiful day coming up for us today. Looking ahead beyond this afternoon, the next few days, things may start to become a little dicey again, especially for the coastal areas. South Texas, Central Texas, rain chances come back Wednesday night, getting into Thursday. Temperatures, though, staying pretty seasonal in the 50s, 60s, and even a couple of 40s in some of the usual cold spots, but no big storms on the horizon over the next few days. So the rainmaker from yesterday is gone. As we get you through the afternoon, high pressure, that's what's going to bring us all this nice weather. Getting into the day on Wednesday, though, cold front approaches the Panhandle. That could spark off a couple showers for Amarillo, and another coastal low develops, bringing shower chances late in the day to the upper and middle Texas coasts. No severe weather, though, expected, of course, with sunshine and high pressure in charge. We're looking pretty quiet across the area this afternoon. So again, lots of sunshine for today. Tomorrow, clouds and showers start to develop here through East Texas, back across Central Texas as well, and then more clouds up through the Panhandle. And then finally into Thursday, rounds of rain and showers here through Central Texas up towards North Texas, getting into Southeast Texas as well. Cloudy weather getting up around Lubbock and Amarillo, maybe a couple showers for Amarillo, with sunshine getting through El Paso. Over the next 7 days, the big bullseye for rain will be out across the upper Texas coast. Otherwise, some light showers through Central Texas and up across the Panhandle. Getting into the month of December now, it does look like temperatures will start to trend a little bit warmer here towards the end of this week and the beginning of next week. The core of that warmth on the west coast, colder weather here across the Northeast, and then getting into the middle of the month, pretty much nothing changes here with warmer weather expected here through Texas and then colder weather into the Northeast. All right, travel trouble spots for today really focused across the Northeast. Of the Northeast are developing heavy snow for the interior and then heavy rain for the coast. Getting into tomorrow, a couple snow showers through Chicago, maybe out towards Denver as well. And then the trouble spots focus a little farther to the south, getting into Thursday with showers and storms to Louisiana, getting into Florida. So again, for today, some snow showers for the Intermountain West. The big travel spot with troubles will be across the Northeast and New England. Then for Wednesday, those snow showers dive a little farther south, potentially into Denver. Beautiful though, coast to coast. And then finally getting into Wednesday rather, maybe a couple of snow showers out to Chicago and Denver. Otherwise though, cloudy skies for Houston. All right, that's a look at your forecast here on Texas News Now. Stay tuned, more headlines are headed your way in just a few minutes.
I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. We are learning more about the man accused of making a string of threats promising a mass shooting. Police have revealed the threats were made throughout Thanksgiving Day on a tip line. Earl Stoudemire tells us who police arrested.
According to the arrest affidavit for 31-year-old Christopher Stowe, he repeatedly shared that he was mad at the world, he was mad at how people acted, and he was mad at himself, saying that at this point in his life, he should be married with kids. The arrest affidavit states that from 1 to 6:45 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, Stowe allegedly made 8 threats through SAPD's 411 tip line. In the first call, police say he told them, quote, "I'm going to kill people. I don't want to, but can't help it," end quote. Stowe allegedly continued on to say, quote, "Years of anger in dealing with unruly people have done it," end quote. Police say he also threatened to kill upwards of 100 people unless police kill him first, allegedly saying, quote, "That's a promise," end quote. Investigators say Stowe also threatened to target the Riverwalk and Spurs games. Detectives collected the tip line data through IP address logs and other data, eventually tracking him down to his workplace. Stowe was arrested and faces charges of terroristic threat. He got out yesterday afternoon on a $50,000 bond. Earl Stoudemire, KENS 5.
A 22-year-old man faces a murder charge after a shooting at an apartment complex. 22-year-old Salim Abidi was arrested Saturday night after police were called to the Icon Apartments on Patricia Drive. Officers say a fight broke out between two men, and that's when Abidi shot the 46-year-old man. He died at the scene. Witnesses told police Abidi ran to another apartment nearby, but officers were able to track him down and take him into custody. A man is in custody after a 7-hour standoff with police. They say it started because the suspect was upset about his roommate letting his pets out. Mike Jimenez spoke with a neighbor who saw the commotion unfold.
Neighbor I spoke with didn't want to be on camera, but says when he got home, it looked like a war zone.
San Antonio police say it was around 3 Saturday afternoon when they were called out to Cincinnati Avenue near St. Mary's University for a disturbance involving a gun. When police arrived, they say the victim told them the roommate pointed a gun at him and threatened to kill him. After the victim says he accidentally let the roommate's pets out.
You need to pick up the phone, Bobby.
Police tried to talk with the suspect, 52-year-old Bobby Rocha, but he refused to come out and barricaded himself in the home. The neighbor we spoke with says when he arrived to his home, it was chaos.
I thought it was raids because of how things are right now. I didn't know if someone had been killed. I was scared.
For nearly 7 hours, police tried to get Rocha to come out of the home using a megaphone and a cell phone. Police say the standoff created a danger to the public.
So right now we're asking everybody to stay clear of the different intersections right now, because right now the house is considered dangerous.
Just before 10 Saturday night, Rocha finally came out of his home with his hands raised. The neighbor says he's lived in the normally quiet neighborhood for about 15 years and has never seen Rocha do anything wrong, and Rocha usually keeps to himself. And also says the incident has him shaken up even today. But he says all the police presence was not necessary.
Well, yes, it was a lot of commotion for nothing.
Rocha is now facing a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and is currently in the Bexar County Jail waiting to see a judge. Mike Jimenez, KINS 5.
A fire rips through a church in Leon Valley, but despite this setback, they're still finding ways to give. Simone Simpson has a story.
The whole building filled up with smoke. There's a lot of smoke damage, and the deacon from the church, he asked us to go ahead and move all of the food pantry items out of the church.
Not wanting to get in the way of the work that needs to be done to repair what was lost in the fire, Stacy and her husband Terry of Rivers of Hope Ministries are giving back what's left of their pantry one last time.
Here you go, God bless you. That's why we started our ministry, back 5 years ago when, inflation started to heat up at the time.
Thank you. As time went on, the need for food became greater.
We have grown so much in the last few months. We've went from serving 50 families a month to 250 families a month.
Stacy and Terry say they served more than 90 turkeys to the Leon Valley community just last weekend.
Our volunteers are all very enthusiastic in helping us serve here. The people we serve are enthusiastic too, and they have been kind and they have been patient with us. So we thank Leon Valley, we thank San Antonio, we thank all of our partners here, for joining us on this journey here.
Rivers of Hope Ministries is always looking for volunteers, and now more than ever, they are looking for a temporary storage facility. You can help by going to our site at kins5.com, where you'll find their contact information. Reporting from Leon Valley, Simone Simpson, KINS 5.
It is race weekend in San Antonio, and San Antonio Marathon organizers are making history. The inaugural 5K, half marathon, and marathon are all sold out. Earlier today, city leaders and members of the San Antonio running community gave a look ahead at what to expect if you're running in one of those races, or if you're just looking to cheer on a friend or a loved one.
It's the story of every runner that will make it to the start line Friday night or Sunday morning. Their journey to get to registration, their journey to train, and their journey to get through the events this weekend. It's also a story of San Antonio. We're going to tell that story throughout the weekend as we run and walk through some beautiful neighborhoods and some places that the previous events have not showcased.
For everything you need to know before the big race, just head to kins5.com. And that's the news in San Antonio.
I'm Lexus Green, and here's some of what's happening in South Texas. The city of Corpus Christi says more improvements are coming to the water dashboard before the end of the year. Updates aimed at strengthening communication with residents who have questions about water supply, conservation, and future planning. Interim Chief Operating Officer Nick Winkleman says the city has been working hard to open more direct lines of communication, especially for those concerned about the Eva Angeline groundwater project and long-term resources.
It's been really beneficial because we've been able to not only communicate facts about our projects, facts about the current water supply situation, but also to listen to community, understand their concerns so that we can better address them and give them the information they're asking for.
City Manager Peter Zanoni says one of the biggest updates coming to the dashboard will include water use data for 2025. Right now, the dashboard is still using 2024's data, making the upcoming updates important for giving residents a more accurate picture of potential supply and demand.
And so once this year is over, we'll insert that use data into the model. We expect to get a little better picture in terms of a potential curtailment, meaning it'll push out that date where supply might not meet demand. So that'll just give residents more certainty in the future.
The city manager adds that the updated water dashboard is expected to go live by late December or early January, giving residents the most accurate and up-to-date view of Corpus Christi's water supply and resources. Choke Canyon is shrinking fast. New numbers show the reservoir is now sitting at 10.1% capacity. That's down from 17.2% at this time last year. That's a 7-point slide in just 12 months, and another flashing red warning light in our long-running drought. The drop comes as South Texas has seen below normal rainfall for most of the year. The lack of water has left more of the shoreline exposed and less supply for the city of Corpus Christi, which relies on Choke Canyon and Lake Corpus Christi to help keep the region running. The city has been under Safe Street water restrictions since December of 2024, and if conditions don't improve, officials say a water emergency could be called as early as late 2026, hitting not just homes and businesses, but large industrial users too. Bottom line, Choke Canyon isn't just low, it's running out of room to fall. Here's a construction project parents are going to be happy to hear about. Over at the Texas State Aquarium, they're about to start construction on the Ocean Odyssey project, which will give you and your children another 1 million reasons to visit. The aquarium is renovating its old four-dimensional theater across from the Caribbean Shark exhibit. That area has been closed down, and officials decided to spend $1 million on renovating the space. That work begins Monday and should be finished by the end of March. The president and CEO of the aquarium, Jesse Gilbert, told 3 News what everyone can expect to see in this indoor play area.
It's basically an incredible indoor playground, a children's discovery center focused on wildlife rescue. So there's different technologies in there that children can play with. There's climbing walls. There's an area for toddlers called a guppy pond, big slides, climbing structures. And so what we want to do is create a safe place for families to come and enjoy the aquarium, burn off some energy.
There's also going to be a beverage station there. CEO Gilbert also said he'll soon be announcing some transformational things that are about to happen at the aquarium and on North Beach. Be sure to stay tuned. That's a quick look at some of what's happening here in South Texas.
Here are your headlines from Southeast Texas. I'm Ebony Coleman. We're tracking new details on a double murder out of Hardin County. We now know the bond amount for both suspects who sit in jail. Deputies say DeAndre Carey Jr. from Beaumont and Kenny Johnson from Baytown both face 2 counts of first-degree murder. Both men have bonds totaling $2 million, $1 million for each murder charge. But Carey has an additional $10,000 for possession of a stolen firearm. The shooting happened in the 4,000 block of Frizinus Road. That's just outside of Silsbee. And deputies say the group had been at a nightclub and were leaving the parking area when an argument happened. When deputies got there, they found Henry Carey Jr. and Khalil Gooch shot to death. Investigators say the 2 suspects ran off. However, they were picked up a little bit later by Lumberton police on separate charges. Hardin County Justice of the Peace Rod Ousley has ordered autopsies for both victims. Multiple departments, including Silsbee and Lumberton, assisted in this arrest. And a Beaumont man will spend the next 6 years on probation. It comes after he admitted to firing shots at his neighbors during a fireworks dispute. Investigators say James Boswell shouted racial slurs at a man and his brother last July 4th, then fired multiple shots, some into the ground, and then the rest towards those men. Police say the brothers were lighting fireworks in their driveway when it all started. Judge Raquel West accepted his guilty plea, but made it clear that she didn't like the deal.
I don't like what you did. I don't like how you treated those people, and I don't like what you did to those children. And it's going to stop, or you're going to end up in prison.
As part of his probation, Boswell cannot possess any firearms, and if he violates the terms, he could face up to 20 years in prison on each charge. And a Port Arthur man has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for a deadly 2022 shooting. Today, Jacoby Broussard accepted a plea deal for the murder of Christopher Thomas Jr. Thomas was found shot multiple times on 53rd Street in Port Arthur. Broussard must serve at least half his sentence before being eligible for parole. 2 other men were also charged. One has been sentenced to 8 years for manslaughter, and the third is awaiting sentencing. And a Buna man is in custody after Jasper County deputies discovered that he had an active warrant during a disturbance call. Deputies answered the call at the County Road 910. That's where they found 22-year-old Zachary Johnson. Investigators learned he had an active warrant out of Red River County for sexual assault of a child. That's a second-degree felony. Now, that warrant was confirmed, and Johnson was arrested and taken to the Jasper County Jail. And the cold didn't stop families from the First Baptist Church lighting show in Nederland. About a dozen families and church members gathered for the annual show. This nightly event will have lights, music, scripture readings, and treats. News reporter Spencer Plato was in Nederland, where the church members say it's about more than just lights and music.
The holiday spirit is ramping up here in Nederland, and the First Baptist Church is lighting up the community with its 5th annual Christmas light show, hoping to create new traditions for families.
It's a lot of fun. It's something we look forward to every year.
A show full of lights, music, and Christmas cheer.
This place holds a special place in our hearts because of how much it means to us, and it means a lot to the community to be able to watch a light show from their cars, not having to get out.
Have some snacks and hot chocolate, some place where their kids can go and just enjoy.
The inspiration started after Associate Pastor Adam Van Arsdale saw a Bridge City house with lights drawing in a long line of cars.
I was blown away. I drove through the neighborhood probably 20 times that night just watching every song in a line of cars out the neighborhood, and so we just came back and we're like, we've got to do this.
That inspiration came with about 15,000 lights.
Our goal the whole time was to just provide something for our community to sort of make part of their Christmas tradition.
And even sparking nostalgia for some.
Growing up, we always had different houses around the community that would do light displays like these, and so when I moved down here about 5 years ago, it was just really cool seeing just my own church that I became a member of having a light display like this, and just brought back fond memories.
Beyond the lights and music, they hope the message behind Christmas shines through.
It brings the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that's one of the biggest, most important things, and that's the reason why Christmas has started.
And if you plan to catch the show, the lights will run from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. until January 1st. In Nederland, Spencer Plato, 12 News.
And those were the headlines from Southeast Texas.
In Austin, I'm Quita Culpepper. It's been almost 5 months since devastating floods hit Central Texas, destroying homes and uprooting lives. Leaders with the Central Texas Community Foundation told us about just how much money's gone toward helping those who are still recovering. Reporter Kelsey Sanchez explains.
Months after the July floods in Central Texas, county officials say there's still a long way to go.
This work won't be finished in a week or in a month. Some families are facing years of rebuilding, but they won't face it alone.
Travis County Judge Andy Brown and Williamson County Judge Stephen Snell joined leaders from the Central Texas Community Foundation Monday to tell us where relief efforts stand.
We still have some of our citizens that are in need of safe housing. We have mold remediation ongoing, emergency financial assistance.
According to the foundation, through the CARES Fund it launched in both counties, just over $3 million have gone out to 115 residents so far. In total, they've raised about $8 million for long-term recovery. Travis County Judge Andy Brown said that 80 residents in the county received about $2.5 million from the money raised. However, he did note that many families affected from the floods were without flood insurance, and those costs alone were overwhelming.
Even if you did have flood insurance, coverage often tops out at $100,000 or sometimes $250,000, leaving a lot of these households with additional enormous out-of-pocket expenses.
Last week, some Sandy Creek survivors gathered outside the governor's mansion, asking Governor Greg Abbott to tap into the state's budget surplus to help families with financial assistance. On top of the $500 million the governor's office says Texas has provided since the summer. KVUE asked county officials if asking the state for more help is an option.
I know that the state of Texas will take all those needs into consideration. Really, I think TDM is the number one entity that can answer that question, and they're still heavily involved around the entire state, not just Sandy Creek area.
KVUE reached out to the Texas Division of Emergency Management Monday. In a statement, they said in part, quote, "To date, Texas has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in flood response and recovery efforts. We look forward to continued productive discussions with lawmakers as to how we best support local officials in their execution of emergency management activities. So while more people wait to get help, local leaders say they'll keep providing relief where they can. In Sandy Creek, Kelsey Sanchez, KVUE News.
The Community Foundation has opened a second round of applications for assistance, and those are open through January 31st. A 30-year-old Hays County man is sentenced to life in prison for being a serial abuser. The Hays County District Attorney announced 30-year-old Isaac Aguirre was convicted of 7 felonies, including continuous sexual abuse of a child, online solicitation of a minor, and injury to a child. More allegations came out in the sentencing phase of his trial, including his plan to murder a judge and others involved in his case. A judge delivered the life sentence last Tuesday. The assistant criminal district attorneys on the case said the judge's sentence ensured the victim can finally have peace, knowing that she and others are protected from Aguirre. Austin City Council members got an update on how city staff are improving emergency alerts after a series of alerts caused confusion a few months ago. Back in September, police say a man shot and killed a woman and injured an APD officer at Zilker Park, and then he ran away into the Barton Hills neighborhood. APD sent out a shelter-in-place alert for people in that area, but police mistakenly lifted it and then reissued it, all while children were arriving at a nearby school. City staff told Austin City Council members they're working on improvements to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. They'll do more training between city staff, first responders, and Austin ISD, and they're developing standardized templates that can be used to send out clear messages during an emergency.
Community, and they're all focused on identifying from who the message is being sent, what action we're asking folks to take, and otherwise making sure that the message conveys confidence and clarity in terms of exactly what's being done.
City staff say APD has already held community meetings to learn more about what changes people want to see. The city also plans to work closely with other public and private schools in the area. 2 new affordable housing communities are coming to Southeast Austin. On Monday, crews broke ground on Sycamores at Pleasant Valley and Willow Crossing. Together, those projects will bring about 110 new affordable apartments, townhomes, and condos to the Dove Springs area. Local leaders say both were designed with input from neighborhood residents and local leaders. And those involved say the projects will give working families access to stable housing near transit, schools, and community resources.
It was a neighborhood that had been neglected and lacked city investment. We wanted to make sure people had options. Not everybody wants to be a homeowner. Having the option to be a homeowner or to be a renter is to accommodate the community.
Construction is expected to start this month, with residents moving in sometime in 2027. A North Texas grocery store is getting ready to close its doors. The owners at Hannah World Market on Palmer Lane blame rising costs and recent vandalism at the property. Over the phone, the owners told us they plan to stay open through December 15th. And as they sell off items in the store, they say they hope to use proceeds to pay staff who are being impacted right before the holidays. There are also some restaurants inside the store that are going to be affected. Ramen del Barrio, which has earned a Bib Gourmand designation from Michelin, announced it's moving to a new location in North Austin soon. Those are the headlines happening in Austin. I'm Quita Culpepper.
I'm Lindsay Littman. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. New developments in the ongoing investigation of a Fort Hood Army doctor accused of predatory behavior by dozens of his former patients. Multiple law firms are now representing clients from Tripler Army Medical Center in Hawaii, along with clients from Fort Hood. Our Juliana Jackson has more on how support groups are working around the clock.
According to Bell County court documents, military police told Blaine McGraw's ex-wife, Julia Carroll, that investigators identified over 40 victims, all of whom were McGraw's patients, whom he video recorded their private parts without their knowledge or consent. Shannon Huff with Shield of Sisters says the moment this story broke, her organization sprang into action.
Been reaching out to as many of the patients as possible. Some spouses, my phone goes off constantly, our hotline, we're answering calls.
Huff says Shield of Sisters has created a safe space for the former patients.
We're just flooded with women who are needing support, who are feeling so vulnerable and not sure what they are due.
Huff says she's pushing for legislative change in Congress.
Military sexual trauma's definition be widened because right now it's for service members and veterans. And so I'm asking for it to be widened to family members and dependents.
Huff is also calling for change in how the military handles these investigations.
Allegation against someone like Dr. McGraw that the command cannot send them to another installation, PCS them, until that investigation is done, is complete, and there's an outcome.
Huff says Shield of Sisters are hearing from women across the country, and congressional members are already listening, and she believes this case won't go away quietly.
And if they don't hear these 3,000 plus women, the military sexual trauma is never going to change.
Well, no criminal charges have been filed at this time. McGraw's attorney said in a statement regarding Julia Carroll's petition for full custody of their child on November 21st that Dr. McGraw's relationship with his daughter is private. He loves his daughter with all his heart. The petition is merely an allegation that will be addressed appropriately in court. Any attempts to make this matter public are not in any child's best interest, end quote. In more news, flu season is here and it could be rougher than before. Our Sydney Walker spoke with a local doctor about the importance of getting your flu shot and with Belton ISD about how the district is preparing for the surge in sick students.
'Tis the season for the sniffles.
Indoors more, being closer together. Thanksgiving and Christmas will trigger a lot of exposure.
Dr. Tim Martindale has seen all kinds of illnesses this time of year, not just the flu.
We have COVID still, we have RSV, and we have this new metapneumovirus.
Since all four have similar symptoms, runny nose, cough, cold, fever, and more, he says it's important to test.
So if you know what it is, and you say, I'm having symptoms, I did this home test, you can call me and I can call you something in right away.
And there's no place it spreads more than a school.
Mid-January to late January, we're going to keep closing schools. It's going to be going all over the place.
Closing schools is a decision made with the county.
Discuss numbers, and if a school closure is needed, then we get our administration team together.
Mary Lisa Fanning says they tell students the basic tips.
This is the time where our school nurses are going into classrooms and talking to students and staff about ways to prevent the flu.
And encourage protection, especially this year.
Partly, we're expecting a rough flu season because a lot of people aren't getting vaccinated.
With something unique spreading, vaccine fatigue.
There's a whole lot more people that are much more vulnerable this year than ever before.
Protection against the flu is crucial.
Lower the intensity and lower the severity and lower the duration.
Protecting your body from simply feeling sick to worse.
There's deaths, thousands of deaths every year from the flu in kids and adults, and that's much, much less likely when you've had the vaccine.
Dr. Martindale says make sure to test as soon as you experience symptoms since there's medication available to help if you catch it early enough. Those are your headlines from Central Texas.
Hi, I'm Brennan Gurley, and here's what's making headlines across East Texas. In honor of Rosa Parks Day, the Tyler Transit System reserved a seat on every bus to commemorate her legacy. The Tyler Transit System has been observing Rosa Parks Remembrance Day since 2013. Monday marked the anniversary of a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement on December 1st, 1955.
To honor her and what she did, it's the aspect of it is we put it out there, and we could just do a news blast, but we do it so that everybody sees it and just remembers.
After the Montgomery bus boycott helped end segregation, Parks became known as the mother of the freedom movement. An act of kindness can go a long way, and at one Tyler restaurant, a group of more than 50 men turned a simple brunch into something much bigger, leaving a generous surprise for their server. Each man in this group brought $100, enough to cover their meals at Three Palms, with the rest passed on as a blessing for the server. They say the effort has grown into a yearly tradition, and this year, even 25 men who couldn't attend still donated, helping make that impact even stronger. Dustin Glover says he hopes the tradition inspires others to give, not just during the holidays, but year-round.
We're blessed here. Folks are struggling, so if you are blessed, that I just think that you pay it forward. And it's not a big deal for each of us, but as a group, it becomes big.
The group plans to continue the tradition next year, hoping to make an even bigger difference across East Texas. A tiny miracle at UT Health East Texas. A baby born at just 15 ounces, the smallest ever treated there, is now headed home after a months-long fight for life. CBS 19's Ayana Aird has more on the baby's journey of graduating from the NICU.
It was so scary because the doctor was like, I can't hear the heartbeat. The baby's not measuring what she's supposed to measure.
A terrifying comment for any mother to hear. Baby Addison weighed just 15 ounces, the tiniest baby ever cared for at UT Health East Texas.
Just smaller than a can of Coke, so it's very, very tiny. This was her diaper when she was born, and it probably was actually too big for her when she was first born because these only go to about a pound, and she was less than that.
The pregnancy was smooth until that 24-week checkup just days after the gender reveal. Doctors admitted Labrisha, hoping to keep Addison growing in the womb as long as possible.
After the third day, they was like, okay, we're delivering. It was just really scary.
Baby Addison was in the NICU for 6 months.
Who wants to leave their baby at the hospital and just go home?
The longest stay of any baby at UT Health East Texas. Nurses say it took around-the-clock high-level care.
She started out on a ventilator, and we had to feed her through a feeding tube. She had special IV lines that we gave her nutrients through.
Despite her size and challenges with development, feeding, and respiratory support, Addison proved to be a strong fighter.
And seeing her every day was one of those amazing things where you got to see her milestones almost like your own child.
My staff has grown so much in these 4 years, and they are the biggest factor that we have for getting these babies healthy.
But that progress came with one message from Labrisha.
Have patience, have faith. That's it.
After a long journey, the hospital celebrated with a parade from the NICU all the way to the exit.
I did not know that all the workers in the hospital almost would be out in the hallway. It was so sweet.
A reminder that even the tiniest can have the biggest wins.
Moms and dads that have babies in the NICU, they are also world champions in this battle.
She's a little fighter.
I'm Ayana Aird for CBS 19.
And she's such a little angel. Well, that's a wrap of your East Texas headlines. I'm Brennan Gurley.